The phone vibrated across the marble counter. I let it ring. 71 times. I could hear her voice before I even answered. Breathless, desperate, the kind of sound women make when they realize they've miscalculated. You can't do this. I silenced it. Let it go to voicemail. Let her stew in the realization. I poured a glass of water, black coffee in my other hand. My reflection in the stainless steel fridge startled me for a fraction of a second, then I smiled, cold, controlled. She had said it. Not whispered, not insinuated. Full-throated, like a verdict. I married a charity case because of charity. You are beneath me. I remembered the exact cadence. Every word etched in the back of my mind like a sharpened knife. I had smiled. You're absolutely right. And that was when the game began. There was no need to shout, no need for tears. Only strategy. Only observation. Only calculated moves. She thought she could humiliate me. She thought her insults were weapons. But weapons only work if someone is weak enough to bleed. I didn't bleed. I planned. I waited. The envelope lay on the counter. My pen still poised. Divorce papers citing redundancy. My lips curved faintly as I imagined the moment she would read them. The shock. The betrayal reversed. There was art in revenge, and I intended to master it. It hadn't started with the charity comment. That was only the final fracture. The cracks had been forming quietly, insidiously, for months. The way her phone would disappear under her pillow. The sudden trips she claimed were business. The whisper of another man in her laughter that wasn't mine. I had tried to ignore it. Tried to convince myself I was overreacting. But something in me cold, precise, unyielding refused to lie. She would glance at me from across the room. Not affection. Not warmth. Calculated disdain. The kind of look that measures worth and finds it lacking. One night, while clearing the table, I overheard a snippet of conversation. Her voice, clipped, authoritative, claiming independence she never had before. Independence from me. The denial was tempting. It would have been easy to confront her immediately, to erupt in anger. But I knew better. Anger is a tool of the unwise. Patience is power. Observation is control. Every detail mattered. The brand of her handbags, the timing of her flights, the subtle inflections in her voice when she thought I wasn't listening. I catalogued it all meticulously. Every whisper of betrayal, every flicker of duplicity was a clue. And I was assembling the map. I refused to be the charity case she claimed I was. I would not be diminished. Not in my home, not in my life, not in my mind. I began quietly. Phone records. Emails. Texts. A shadow, a silent observer. Every action deliberate. Every movement measured. I created spreadsheets. Notes in margins. Timelines. Cross-references. The pieces were there, scattered, waiting to be arranged. I watched her social media with a precision bordering on obsession. I tracked locations, flight itineraries, hotel bookings, all to confirm what I already suspected. She was not just careless. She was deliberate. I never confronted. Not yet. Confrontation is premature without certainty. I needed proof. Cold, undeniable proof. DNA tests, discrete questions, observations in public. I became invisible in plain sight. A ghost. The tension built quietly inside me. A low hum. Controlled. A calculated storm. I imagined the confrontation in my mind. Every variation. Every reaction. Her disbelief. Her outrage. her rage against me, which had been her only weapon. The power shifted in silence, in patience, in the calm before the storm. I was no longer reacting. I was orchestrating. Every step, every delay, every casual response had purpose. She had underestimated me, misjudged me, and she would pay the price of her arrogance. The evidence arrived in a discreet envelope. The results were unmistakable. I held it in my hand. My pulse was steady. My breathing was measured. I didn't need to read it twice. It confirmed everything. The betrayal, the lies, the deceit. I placed the report on the counter. The phone rang again, but I ignored it. I knew she was calling. She always did when she sensed danger. I waited. She entered the room, feigning ignorance. "I think we need to talk," she said, the edges of her voice betraying her. I pushed the envelope toward her. No words. Just a look. A cold, unflinching stare. Her eyes flickered. Confusion, panic, anger. She picked it up, scanning, realizing. "No, this isn't." I cut her off with a small smile. "It is." Her composure shattered like glass. I stayed calm, eerily composed, detached. The truth hit her like a physical blow. She staggered, not from my words, but from the inevitability of exposure. I did not gloat. I observed. A predator observing prey realizes it has no escape. And in that moment, she understood. Divorce papers served, cards canceled, trips voided. Her calls, 71 times, all unanswered. Each ring a heartbeat of desperation she no longer controlled. When she screamed into the phone about Thanksgiving, I replied calmly, in joy. There was no malice in my tone, only truth. She saw the photos of my villa in Switzerland, my life, my independence, my escape from her greed. I had built everything she scorned me for. I had survived her contempt, her manipulation, her calculated cruelty. And now she realized she had nothing to hold over me. No confrontation, no shouting, no pleading, only quiet devastation. Her eyes, when she finally saw it, the empty spaces where her power once existed, was satisfaction in its purest form. I did not need to ruin her. I only needed to reveal the truth. And that truth crushed her. I sat alone in the silence that followed. No applause. No victory cries. Just clarity. I had been patient. Strategic. Cold. Calculated. No tears. No resentment. Only observation and understanding. She had tried to diminish me, define me, use me. But I was neither charity nor fool. I had taken control. Not through violence, not through anger, but through intellect and precision. She called again. I let it go to voicemail. 72 times now. I smiled faintly. The storm had passed. I was unchanged, untouched. Except stronger. Not look back. The charity case was gone. The greedy shrew exposed.